press it and...
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm Richard Lewis reporting for Cadrid.org, and I'm here with Goswser, who I've grabbed while he's just killing some time before he starts his games in the knockout tournament. Lots of questions to ask you, so thanks very much for taking the time out of your day. Okay, let's start at the beginning. How does an American player end up in France?
Oh, well, I guess it was when my contract was ending with Complexity. I could have resigned or looked for a different team, and I decided to try to find a European team because I wanted to go to European events, and Complexity would only send us to European events we qualified for. And since most of the ones in Europe are open, there's no qualifiers. So the only option I thought I could play in DreamHacks and European events was to join a European organization.
How much is it, how important is it to American players to be competing in Europe? I mean, is that something that the NA scene look to as being kind of the benchmark of competition?
I think if you want to rise as a pro gamer, then you have to play in international competitions, and there's a lot more of these in Europe than in America. In America, there's a couple MLGs each year. It was like 4, but I think it's only 3 this year. So that's not that many tournaments to prove yourself in. And they're so far apart too that, like in StarCraft, the scene changes every month. So you have to put yourself out there, I think, every single month if you want to become well known. And it's a lot easier in Europe, I think.
What about the kind of strength of the NA scene as a whole? I mean, I've seen there's been some things like obviously Total Biscuit did the a Shoutcraft thing, and there's been a few kind of attempts to inject new life into North America. But I mean, overall, do you think the standard is poor, or do you think it's still competitive there?
I think it's more competitive than people think. It's not as competitive as Europe for sure. But there's a lot of players who are close to like European pros level, and even with them on some accounts too. It's just you don't see them very much in tournaments. And a lot of the MLGs, the last one wasn't so bad, but the ones before that usually have so many Koreans that the good talent gets knocked out. And like any tournament on any given day, like good pros can lose games to like Koreans really easily. So it's really hard for fans to see how good some of the NA players are.
That kind of leads to the next question. What do you think of US organizations and kind of US sponsorship? Obviously, we know EG have a bit of a monopoly. No disputing that. But as someone who's been with a respected organization like Complexity, I mean, is it better being in a European organization now?
Well, I can mostly it's different for every organization, and I mostly only know about like the insides of Millennium, not the other European teams. But I think Millennium's a bit bigger than Complexity, just because they have a huge pull in the French audience. I guess it's just different. I don't know too much about the other European organizations. I think Millennium's kind of unique. Okay. So.
Well, tell us about that uniqueness, because I mean, first of all, why pick Millennium as such? Because I mean, it still jars me when I see an American flag and Millennium. It's not synonymous. So why would you pick that over, say, I don't know, other organizations?
I was mostly looking for the organization that gave me the best offer, and my contract with Complexity is ending. And I tried asking around to a bunch of European teams, and Millennium was really responsive, and they seemed really nice, and they gave me a good offer as well. And the other European teams, some of them didn't even like contact me back when I messaged them. So I just basically found what I could.
What do you think Millennium see in you as a player then? Why do you think Millennium were keen to sign you when other organizations weren't?
I think the player manager for Millennium, Luis, who selects the players, I think he saw potential. He has been really great for talent scouting in the past. Like he picked up Stefano and then Huck as well, right before Huck broke out. And now Daishi has been doing really well lately too. So I think he saw potential. And I guess it paid off pretty quick, because right after I joined Millennium, I made like top 8 in Iron Squid and almost made top 4. So I think he just saw my play and thought it was good.
Well, let's talk about that potential and how you're starting to realise it. I mean, you had some good results in the past. I think you beat MMA, if I'm right. I might be making that up. I might have heard that somewhere. Is that correct? Or?
I've beaten a bunch of...
Yeah, you've beaten a bunch of Koreans. But I think MMA was one of them. I was researching this interview. If I got it wrong, there'll be someone on Reddit who'll correct me. It's okay.
Some tournament at some point. I don't remember which one.
But, you know, you've had some great results against Koreans. And since you've come to Millennium, I think you're really starting to come into your own. You've definitely made an improvement there. So how's that happening? Is that down to you? Is that down to the organisation? Is there a new training regime? Is it being in a gaming house? What would you put it down to?
I think it's down to practicing full-time and having like good players to practice with. And training on the European ladder is also better than NA. And I think a lot of it's just training full-time. Like a lot of fans and players expect players to achieve really good results quickly. Even if you've only been playing full-time for like 3 months or 4 months, they expect you to beat Koreans who've been training full-time for years. And I think that you just can't do that. If you train for 2 or 3 months full-time and Koreans are training for years, you're going to lose usually. So I think it takes more time than that. And I think it's just slowly coming in as I spend a bit more time full-time as a pro gamer, that I'm getting a lot better.
We've talked about Koreans a lot in this interview, and you indeed have a reputation as being a bit of a Korean slayer. So it would be silly of me not to ask what you think about kind of the WCS and the issues with region locking, or rather the lack of it. We've seen North America dominated by Koreans. There was that hilarious YouTube video with the American flag in the background with all the Korean players emblazoned across it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't understand what they did with WCS. Like, they've said that they don't want to do it, they just want to have the best tournament in the world, but then it's kind of strange how they name the regions like WCS NA, WCS Europe, WCS Korea, when it's clearly that WCS NA is like half Korean now, I think, between Challenger and Premier. So it makes you kind of confused when you see the name and then you see all the Korean players in it. I wish they region locked, because then I would win more money. I don't think it's too bad. I think they're planning on at least having more offline events, which should at least somewhat limit the amount of Korean players that come in. I was also kind of unlucky, I think, with my groups.
Definitely.
I think in WCS NA, so far I played 8 series, and only one of them was against a player from NA. So it's kind of hard, but maybe I can make it back to Premier this season.
Okay. Well, let's focus to more immediate concerns. Obviously, you are here in DreamHack, so what targets have you set yourself? I mean, you seem a pretty chilled out guy, so you don't seem to be super intense when it comes to setting yourself targets. So are you just going to take it as it comes, or do you have a specific finish in mind? My
goal was top 8, but now that I've got top 8, I guess top 4 is my goal. I'm happy with my placement right now, even if I lose to Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'd obviously like to make it farther. But I also, for once at DreamHack, I got a lucky group that made it into the round of 16, and then I think I got the easiest opponent I could have for the round of 16. So finally I had some luck at DreamHack, and I think that contributed a lot. But I think I can maybe make it to the semifinals if I play well too.
It's always a difficult question to ask someone who's still in the tournament, because you never know how they're going to react to it. But let's just imagine you weren't. Who do you think will be winning this competition?
I think Jaedong will win. I think he's the best player here. Either him, Hyun, or Stardust for sure. I never want to say Stardust will win, because all he does is cheese, and I don't like his playstyle. I think Jaedong for sure is the best player though. I think he'll win.
Are there any players who you think have performed, you know, well above expectations? I mean, all tournaments seem to throw up a shock player, a surprise player. I was expecting Daishi to maybe do a little bit better than he did. He's usually a good bet for a dark horse. So is there anyone who you think should be getting some mad love out there?
I think anyone. I think I would say Elfie. He just made the round of 8 defeating Maro, and like his play is really good. He's top. I think he's ranked 6 on European GM right now. At the last DreamHack, he beat Teja 2-0 in group stages. I think he has a good shot at making it really far.
So just to wrap up the interview, because I won't want to keep you long. I know you've got good preparation to start. So what are you going to be up to, and where are we going to see you next? I mean, after DreamHack.
My next tournament's actually only like 2 weeks later, I think, Aces ROG. And I think it should be fun. It's a really stacked tournament, but maybe I can do well there too.
Okay. And I never usually do this, but I'm starting to get into the habit of doing it, because I always get chewed up about it on Reddit. I'm going to allow you to shout out to the sponsors. Apparently, it's very important that we do this. So
okay. Shout out to my sponsors: Cdiscount, Numericable, Winamax, Corsair. Maybe we have some more.
It's all right. I'm sure they can see them on the shirt.
Yeah, hopefully you can see them on the shirt. I think that might be all of them. I'm not exactly positive. We might have got a new one recently, but I think that's them, I guess. Also, shout out to all my fans and everyone who's tweeted at me. Thanks for the support.
Okay. Well, look, I wish you all the best for the tournament. You're a great guy. It's great to finally interview you on camera. It's very, very nice. So, and all the people out there, do stay tuned to the website. We're going to have more interviews like this one from here at DreamHack Valencia 2013.